Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 15th. It's 1:49 p.m. Eastern, and I'm tapping into the Nancy Guthrie case. I've been tapping into Nancy's energy quite a bit, actually, and I just wanted to say that I've been going back through the case, tapping into the energy, and honestly, something just still doesn't feel right. Not like in a really dramatic way. It's not like I'm jumping to conclusions that are any different than I did before, but I'm just, ooh, I'm really heavy in the chest. But when I sense that when I sit with the details that were known and the timelines, it's just something's not right. Something's not fully formed yet for me and for all of us. There's not, today, April 15th, there's just been no recent updates. Nobody's really covering the case anymore. And I guess it's easy. That's what happens just to move on, other than the live YouTube streamers. But I'm also seeing like the mainstream media is not covering it, but I'm also seeing that the neighbors are complaining about the YouTube streamers going on, and just everything just feels wrong right now. I do have like in my chest, I feel very anxious when I'm tapping into the energy, and I just want you to remember that there's a woman out there we need to find. And it's just like everything's going quiet. There's not any new information. We don't have clarity. And I've been going back and forth because it's just something I just want to know. There's this timeline recap here that I want to go through. She was last seen on January 31st, Nancy Guthrie. From that point forward, the timeline seems to be very important in this case, because a missing persons case is often not one big moment. It's the smaller gaps, the transitions, the parts in between that matter the most. What's missing? What's standing out? And when you look at these transitions, something just feels wrong and incomplete. We know there's discrepancies in the timeline that the sheriff has said and then redacted and gone back on his word. And I understand that everybody is wanting to move on and not cover this case, but I don't know. I said at the beginning, I predicted that I think the perps, when everything was super, super silent, we're going to make some mistakes. And I'm wondering if that's happening now. I'm wondering if the perps are making some mistakes. I don't know. I don't know. Something's not right. Something's not right. These are not conclusions. They're just my observations that stand out to me when I revisit the case. The overall flow in the timeline seems like there's a big gap of time unaccounted for. The other thing that seems so unnatural to me, like I've talked about before, that still seem very out of place. I haven't given my report on this, but I'm just going to talk about the video. There's a specific part in the video that feels very specific to who it was meant to deliver a message to. And then there's the the blood and the lack of clarity around certain moments that I'm really trying to define and create a sense in, my own mind, and putting the pieces together in my intuitive sessions with how to make it all work, how did it all go down, how does it fit together? And I've been doing that in the background connecting with Nancy. It is stressful. Before I continue on, I want to just show you a very brief clip because I want you to understand how the remote viewing works within the government in the United States. Just watch.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff Mishlove. This is part 2 of our 2-part series on training remote viewing with Dr. Paul Smith, who is a founder and past president of the International Remote Viewing Association. Paul participated in the military remote viewing program for 7 years. He's a former Army intelligence officer as well as a philosopher, and is the author of Reading the Enemy's Mind and The Essential Guide to Remote Viewing. Welcome again, Paul.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be with you. In the first part of our 2-part series, we talked about a lot of things, but
one of the things they talked about, I just wanted you to hear that because I know a lot of people out there think it's woo-woo. One of the things they talked about how he was recruited to be a psychic spy. So we're going to leave it there. But I'm trying to tap in and I'm trying to make sense of what I'm feeling. It's remote viewing. I just want to remind everybody, it's an intuitive perspective. It's not facts. It's not about determining facts. It's about understanding the environment, the tone, and the overall impression. And what is standing out for me right now is not necessarily a specific event. It's more of a feeling around the situation that there is so much more that we don't know. But I also feel like they're not necessarily getting where they need to be. Again, it's just my intuitive impression at this point, okay, that the case remains open. I know they're in the background working things. I understand all that. I'm not saying it's a cold case, although others are calling it a cold case. I'm saying I don't think they have a theory, but they don't have much to go on. And we've talked about this before, and we've seen clips at this point to go on. And I'm almost seeing like threads, like yards of threads, and it's just like all these lines, like, but they're cut off pieces. Like, I feel like they've got 1,000 tentacles spread everywhere with all these leads, and none of it is weaving together, if that makes sense. Is that making sense to you? I got full confirmation now. Like, they've got 1,000 tentacles everywhere, and they're trying to weave it together, and they're trying to make connections with these tips. Oh, I'm full on getting body vibe confirmations. And at this time, they're not there. They're not there. And it's disheartening. It's disheartening because that's my validation for what I was feeling. It's like, as I'm talking and I'm given this vision, I get my body confirmation, my chills, full body chills, that they are literally got 1,000 tentacles of leads, but none of them connect together to their theory and who they believe are the suspects in this case, which is very alarming. And it makes me wonder, have they looked at my evidence? Have they looked at what I sent them? I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling that they're looking at it yet. Maybe they will. Maybe they will look at it eventually. But yeah, I think that's the energy I'm picking up on. Like, something just feels still. And it's literally all I can say is what I was feeling, and that vision describes it perfectly. And the full body confirmation is, I was trying to get out what I'm feeling and talking to you about it, and now I know they've got 40,000 or whatever leads they got, but they are struggling to piece it together to the people they believe to be the suspects. And that's not great. So I'm going to continue to do work in the background and hope and pray that somebody, please God, some investigator or some tip comes in or some light bulb moment comes on or some lucky break or one of my tips or somebody else's tip. It doesn't need to be about me here. I just desperately need and want Nancy to be found. And I still believe she's alive. I do. I've tapped into her energy. Don't feel she's good though, physically. Just gonna say that and leave that there. But I'm hoping and praying that they get the links to piece this together. I also want to say I'm getting a very interesting message now. Oh, okay. Thank you for the validation. Oh, thank you for the validation. Okay, thank you. This is super important. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I get full on goosebumps. My whole body just goes, okay. So I'm getting this. Once they get one weave, like picture the yarn, like pieces of yarn just strewed all over. We're like 1,000 pieces, none of them connect. Once they link two pieces, I feel like it all rolls up back into the ball and gives them a whole picture. That's what I'm getting. I got full on goosebumps. Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be, but I'm like freaking cold. Like my full body is like full on goosebumps here. Once they get the hit they need to connect these dots, the whole ball is going to ravel. So everybody keep praying out there, please, for the love of God, that they get the hits they need, they get the downloads, they get the tips from myself or somebody else, or the luck, or just the mindset shift, or something that they need to connect two pieces of the puzzle. Thank you for being here. Love and light, everybody. Have a great day.